So let me start today's session. So let me minimize my window and everything. Uh, okay. Mm, Minimize. Got it. Vision 360. Okay. So I guess you have a good practice on these create and modify toolbars. Just do go practice and everything. And today will go a little bit faster, and I have to reach as quickly as possible. See, assembly you have only does not contain major things. All the things are automated for you. So in other softwares, when compared to Fusion 360, what you have is you need to create more number of steps in order to fix your component. But in your Fusion 360, the process is quite automated, right? You will see what is the difference. If you have knowledge on other softwares, then you can compare that. But in your Fusion 360, it is very easy to assemble a component. It is highly automated and it is highly cut down to very less number of steps. Okay, so let us see. So what this constraint is, I don't have any other part ready-made and show it to you. Okay, so in your assembly, the first and primary thing is your bodies and your components. If you open your assembly, it is asking to create a new component. Okay, so the major difference between your body and then the component is, see, if I create any body over here, and if I want, let me create a simple box, and will ask for a plane and just give a box. Click OK. So what it does is it creates a body, not a component. So in order to assemble two parts, here in your, do remember that in your Fusion 360, component means it is a part. Okay, your terminology might be different from software to software. Okay, and over here these are called components, and bodies over here are only three-dimensional bodies. That's all. Now you do all the stuff and you create, see, in order to create one particular part, like example, if I need to create one cap example, what I need to do, I want to turn that into a rectangular cap, let us suppose. What I need to do, I need to make a center hole over here and I need to make threads. Then all the three operations combinedly, it becomes a single body. And I mean, let us take 3 or 4 steps it might take to create body number one. Now I need to turn that into a component. Right click, create components from bodies. Now what it does is it creates component 1 semicolon 1. Okay. Now let me create another cylinder. By default, Fusion 360 creates a body itself. Okay, by default it is a body only. Now click OK. Make sure that is a new body over here in the right corner. That is a new body only. Click OK. Now see, this cube is component 1:1. That is component number 1. Now whatever I create, now it is going to become a body. Now necessarily I will create a fillet over here to this particular body. I'll take this edge and I'll go with 5 mm or such and click OK. Now this is my final body. Now I'll turn that body into create components from bodies. Now I'm creating component 2. Okay, now these are separate individual parts. Now this is component number 1, this is component number 2. Okay, now let me create the same thing using bodies. What it actually mean to say is, if I create another box with respect to the same plane, I'll create another box. Okay, click OK. And if I create another cylinder which is separated by a distance, let me create another cylinder. Okay, that is a new body. Now how much ever I create, how much ever I separate these two three-dimensional elements, these are body number 1 and body number 2. They come under body folder itself. If I hide them, they both actually hide because I did not turn them into components. Whereas these two components are individual, because this property, if I open, it has its own origin, it has its own body. Okay, body number 1 is separate, it has its own origin. Okay, component number 1, and component number 2, it also has its own origin. If I see, it has its own origin. if I move this particular body number one, let me suppose this, and let me move it somewhere else. Okay, with respect to that, and just click OK. So it has its own origin, and component number one also has its own origin. So that is the major difference. To assemble any given components, every part should have its own origin. Okay, that is the major difference between component and a body. See, body does not have its own coordinate system, or else it does not have its own origin. Okay, let me hide the origins for time being. Okay, so it does not have its own origin. For these two components, the origin is the default main origin itself. Okay, for components, it has its own origin, it has its own properties. For this one, if I want to change the color of this one, or else the property of this one, this reflects the same for both of them. Okay, that is the difference between body and a component. The major difference is your origin, or else your UCS, universal coordinate system. So generally we go with origin, fine. So in order to make a part, to make it assemble, you need different components. Component number one, see what one means, it is part. Component number one, component number two, assembly number one, assembly number one. You can assemble one by one. That 1:1, 2:1, 3:1, 4:1. That means component number one in first assembly, component number two in first assembly, third assembly, second assembly, in that way. Okay, so that is what it actually meant. Now you have clarity. That is the first and primary question in your Fusion 360. What is meant by a body and a component? Because in rest of the softwares you don't find this kind of option like bodies and parts. Okay, that is a major difference. Now you know how to create a new component. Okay, now we will see what types of joints are there in your Fusion 360. Okay, now it is saying that there are no components. Okay, let me quickly okay, yeah, excuse me. Okay, fine, let me do a simple box, and let me take this plane and go with 150 by, I'll go with 300, and I'll go with 100. I'll go with 100 tab 300, and for thickness I'll go with around 50 mm. No, I'll go with 40. That's more than enough for me. I'm creating a block, and I'll again create a box onto this top of the surface. So let me create the size of the block as 50 by 50 top, and 50 by, let me go with the width as 40. Let me go with 50 by 30. Okay, fine. Now I'll just remove the component, and negative axis I'll give 10. Click OK. And now I'm just creating different types of slots, and just to teach you these things. Okay, I'm not making any things. Okay, I'm just creating another box exactly onto this face. I'll click this point, and I'll just go with 20 by, go with 120. That's fine for me. In the negative direction, I'll go with 10. Click OK. Now I'll create a sketch onto this plane, and I'll just make sure that I'm creating a slot. So what, create a slot. Let me suppose the distance is 10 mm. Yeah. Yeah, is there any doubt now? Okay. I'm just making use of these primitive components to make all these things as fast as possible. Okay. Over here, I'll make some cylinder. Let me go to cylinder. I'll create this as my point, and let me zoom in. I'm going to create which diameter of 20 mm center. I'll just go with 100 and I'll just cut that. Okay, and over here I'll make that I'm going to create a sphere. Okay, and diameter would be more or less 40 is enough for me. Just click and just remove it. I'll simply make a fillet onto the top to make it more visible. So I'll go with 5 mm. Click OK for even for this. Okay. Now I'm ready with my base component. So this is my base component, whatever I have created. Okay. Now what I'll do is over here this is a single body. Now I'm going to create this body into a create component from bodies. Okay, now I'm going to assemble some parts to this given slots. Let us suppose these are given slots, and I'm going to assemble my components over here. So let me now create different parts and which are going to fit in these planes. Okay, now again I'll go over a little bit faster and I'll just create. Okay, let me go at now. This is 50 by 40, right? Now I'll go with what I need to do is 30 by 20. Let me suppose it is 20. Click enter. Now let me suppose it is 20 or 30 mm. I want to create a new body. Okay, fine. You can directly create a new component. That is not a big task for you. Let me create a new body and follow your procedure. Generally, what I've thought. Okay, and this is a new body. Fine. Now now I can move this part. Okay, if in order to I can just move this part and I'm just moving the part in order to visualize what I have done. Okay, just moving those parts. Okay, now I'll create a simple cylinder right away onto this face. Now let me take this point and 20 mm. I'll just create another cylinder which is of quite about a distance. Create a new body. I'm just creating a new body. And I'm just moving these parts onto this different axis. Just click OK. Again, create a body. See, I'm going really quick to in order to explain your assembly and all. So uh, width would be length 20 mm. The height would be 150, and let me change the width to 10. Length to 20. Let me increase the width to 20. No, let me keep it as 10. Let me increase the length to 30. Is it okay? No. Okay, fine. What I'm doing, create a box. I want to create a box which actually has some thickness. Okay, this is fine. Now it is visible. Okay, I'm creating a new body. Click OK. And I'm just moving this body a little bit above and over here for other components I'll just create for cylindrical joint. Let me create another cylinder onto this face. Over here I'm just creating I want to create a new body. Click OK, and again I want to create a cylinder. Go to this face and select this. I want to create a smaller one. Okay, that is fine. I want to join into this particular body, and I want to create a sphere onto this face. Let me zoom in. Okay. Uh, Make sure I want to join that particular cylinder, which is not 40, which is I want to get a 20 mm. That is fine. No 10 mm. That is no 50. Let me go with 16. Okay, that is fine for me. Now I've created some random cap. Now this entire thing becomes a single body, my body number 5. Okay, I have kept on, see, I have made this as individual part and individual body. Then I kept on adding all these elements to this particular body. That is how I created in a single instant. Okay, and now let us create a sphere onto this plane. Now let me snap this all around. I don't know the dimension what I have created. Let me inspect and the surface. What is the diameter of it? Loop length is 123.125. Okay, 123.125. Okay, 123.125 divided by 2. Okay, let me decrease it by 120. It will be more visible to you. Approximately, let me go with 80 or some value to it. Let me go by 40. Fine. Now what I'll create is I'll create a cylinder on this plane, and to this diameter would be more or less 10. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm creating just a simple handle to this particular element, and this is how I have made it. And let me create a simple sphere onto this plane. Fine, I want to join it. Okay, click OK. Now this became two parts. Now I'm free to do these parts, I guess. Okay, fine. Press pull. Just I want to make sure I have an area of little bit more area. Okay, fine. Okay, now I have these components, and let me. Okay, now let me turn all these components, create components from bodies. See. Okay, now what I have done is I have created this is my base component, so let me rename it as base component. Oh, my Autodesk, what happened? No. Okay, let me rename it as base. This is my base component, and you can component number 2, 3, 4, and 5, you can rename it whatever it might be. And now let us see what type of joints we have actually. See, there are two ways actually to join your, to create your joint. One is a simple joint, and another one is as built joint. Okay. Now we will see what is an as built joint and what is a simple joint. Okay. Let me cover what is a simple joint. See, always remember that you have shortcut commands for more or less all the basic things. So J is the shortcut for this particular joint. Then you can click J. You will be entering into your joint window, and see, now this is your base component. Always in your assembly, try to the first and foremost thing is you have to have a base, or else in your entire assembly one component or else one part should be fixed to the ground, because your assembly cannot stay in air, right? So at least in your machine, in your bottle, in your phone, laptop, mouse, whatever you take universal assembly, at least one component is staying on to the ground. Okay, that will be your base component. Okay, that is the primary thing. Now in before creating any joint or else any simulation or any animation, first you have to fix the base component. Okay, so in your Fusion 360 your in this particular assembly, your base component is this one. Okay, in order to fix this one, I am going to right click and I'm going to ground. Okay, that is your second option called ground. Okay, a simple you can see a pin kind of symbol. That means this body cannot be moved. Okay, if you want to move it, it can only just move it in this. As soon as you click OK or cancel, it will come into its original position. Okay, and it is base component should always be fixed. Okay, That is the first and primary thing in your assembly. In another softwares, you call that as fixing your component or arresting degrees of freedom. You have different names for it. In your present assembly, you have ground. Okay, ground means it is fixed, and the rest all components you have to give constraints. That means you have to give a type of joint, actually a cylindrical joint. There are different kinds of joints with respect to this particular base. That is the most important thing. All the components should be given joints, and the base component should always be fixed in any assembly. Do remember that always in assembly we are going to check what is your base component. See, if there is a 3-bar mechanism, you are doing a simple 3-bar mechanism, sir, I don't have that any component to fix. Okay, at least your on which, see example, I have this particular face, it is going to have a ball joint. This face is fixed now. Now this component is actually moving. So fix that particular base. Okay, each and every assembly has some base. You are going to fix that. That is the first and primary thing in your assembly design. Now let me open this joint. In this joint, let's open the motion. What type of joints we actually have? First one is rigid joint. This one is revolute. We have slider. We have cylindrical. We have pin slot type, and we have planar, and we have ball. These are types of joints which I can give between any two given components. Okay, now let us suppose I don't know what kind of joint do I need to give. That is the primary option. So you need to have a general theoretical knowledge on which type of joint I need to give. That is the background of your assembly. Now this is your ball joint, where you have to rotate this ball into this particular slot. Now it can rotate about around 360 or give any constraints. Now only thing you can do is you cannot give cylindrical joint. You can give a ball joint. Okay, and over here your cylinder is moving on to the slot. Okay, now this is a slot. You can move into this, and it can also rotate. That is called cylindrical joint. Cylindrical joint, you have planar motion. That means you can move front and back, and it can also rotate in its own axis. That is called cylindrical joint. And over here you have a sliding motion. See, cylindrical joint, it has sliding and also it has rotation, whereas in sliding joint only you have sliding motion. That means over here this slot, in this slot, this part can only slide, it cannot rotate. Okay, that is the thing. Over here also you have cylindrical you have a ball joint or revolute joint. Okay, you can, generally this is going to revolve into this given slot. Okay, it cannot slide, actually it can only revolve. Generally you have bearings. Okay, you can give revolution, not a cylindrical joint. Okay, if you have a necessity, that means this particular part is going to revolve into the slot, and also it needs to slide, then you need to give a cylindrical joint. Okay, and it depends on what type of what type of assembly you are making. So that should be kept in your mind. So you have to have knowledge on assembly, what type of assembly you are doing, and how the parts are going to move. Actually, don't blindly go and give all your constraints. Now at this position you can give a revolute joint, and also you can give cylindrical joint. In this portion also you can give revolute joint. That means you can revolve onto this component, or else simply you can slide it. Yes, this component can slide into the slot, right? It can give only sliding motion also. So always remember, you have to have knowledge, prior knowledge on your assembled parts, so how they are going to move and all. Okay, that is the primary thing. Okay, let us jump into this topic, and let us see how these parts are going to assemble. Now I'll press join J. As soon as I present join J, your base part actually becomes dummy. That means it becomes invisible, or else partially invisible. That represents that this is your base component. Always your component number one should be your first part. First part, whatever you select, that goes and assembles into your base part. If I select this particular base part as my first one, it is not going to do it because the base part is always fixed. What I can move, all these parts I can move now. That is what it is saying. The first part is to first part, that means component number one, whatever you select, that actually goes and sits into your second component. That is what it actually meant to say. Okay, now let us see the yeah. Okay, this is your first component always in your Fusion 360. This rule is present only in your Fusion 360. The first component is first component is going to assemble in the second component. Okay, that is what it actually meant to say. Okay, now I'm going to assemble the first component. Now I'll select this one. So now my intention is to select the bottom face, and I need to assemble that onto this particular face, this bottom face. Now, in order to select the bottom face of this particular component, I need to rotate my component, right? So, in order not to do that, what is a shortcut you need to follow is you have a left click button, right? Click that button and drag it. I mean, press and hold. See, the shortcut is, again I repeat, press and hold your right mouse button. It will show what are the hidden faces in this part. Just hover your mouse onto this front face, press and hold your mouse button. It will show the hidden faces. Face 1, it is front face. Vertex, that is back vertex. Face, it is a hidden face which is at the other side, right? Again I repeat, press and hold your front mouse button. It will show two faces. What are the hidden faces? Now if you want to select the front face, you can select the face which is visible to you, and you can select the face which is not visible to you. Now if I select the second face, see where my screen is going to highlight, at the bottom face, right? So in order to get that, press and hold down your left mouse button. This is the shortcut. Excuse me. Okay, I have selected the bottom face. Now now my face is selected. Now it is going to ask which point do I need to say. There is a smiley button, or else we call it as the selection button, or else we call it as smiley in your Fusion 360. Okay, fine. That is your point, snap point. Okay, the technical term for it is snap point. On which point do I need to place? Do I need to select and assemble? Okay, generally we go with center button. Okay, now your first component is done. Now I'm going with the base component. My base component, this face I need to take. I'm going to select the center one. Okay, now it is saying that now it automatically took pin slot. No, I don't want pin slot. I want to have rigid slot. Okay, that means rigid motion means it does not have any motion. Rigid, it is fixed. Now this, I mean, that face is going to fix onto this particular place with 0 mm as offset. It should not have any gap. In my nature, that face and this face should not have any gap. Okay, that is my primary intention. Okay, so it does not have, it should not have any gap in between. That is my intention is. Click OK for that, and see, if you want to have animation, go to motion and you click animate. See, rigid body animation is this. Okay, this is what your animation toolbar does in your workspace. Now if you open this workspace, this is what your animation does. If you record this, that is more than enough. Don't go to animate and simply give all the motions and do those funny kind of things. Okay, you what I mean to say is it is your cloud based software. That is, all your things will be stored onto the cloud, and your cloud space is limited. So it is all around 1 GB to 1.5 GB, I guess so. So whenever I have, till now I have known, you have to purchase your cloud storage. Okay, don't do all those things. Okay, so stop animation, and I mean you cannot save this animation right over here, and only in animation it is possible, but generally we never actually save those animations and all. Okay, just click OK. Now a symbol is derived that is called rigid. Under joints, see, if you a new folder has been created, if I open that, you have rigid joint. A joint has been created. Now if you right click edit joints, you can edit your joint. Go to edit, and if you want to make that into an X offset or Y offset, now I want to make to place that particular object 15 mm between that selected faces, or else I need to give only 1 mm. I mean 1 mm clearance should be there between these two objects. Okay, give 1 mm. Or else if you want to go with 0, just give it as 0 offset. Click OK. Okay, that is how you create a simple joint, rigid joint, and that is how you actually edit your rigid joint. And now let us create another joint, which is actually a revolute joint between these two faces. Now again, go to J, press J, or else you can go to assembly and create your portion. And on which face do I need to get that particular revolute joint? Generally, revolution is done depending on your center point or a center axis. Okay, it is select a location or component to move. This one I need to go. It has automatically, see, this is my snap point now. Now over here, let me rotate. Okay, generally the center point should be matching with your center point, or else you can go with your edges also. That is up to you how do you actually create and everything. That is limited. Click this. Now in order to change that particular motion, I'll go with revolute. Now let us check. Now what it is going to do, let me go at an isometric view, animate. Is that fine? Now you can, I mean, if you have any slots around this particular cylinder, then you can observe that particular rotation. Okay, let me zoom in. I guess it is visible for everyone. See, this rotation represents now that this is revolving. I mean, this is revolving. See, just animated. Okay, that is the motion I need to get. If you zoom out, your animation will be really smooth. If you zoom in, your animation will be really tough. Okay, it all depends on your graphic based intensive system. So how fast it is and how smooth it is. Now if you want to change your rotation, you can change around this rotation. See, this is your rotation along the z x axis, rotation along y axis, but these are not see, you have to keep in mind that you have to select your perfect axis, that is z axis. Check your animation, if it is right, then click preview. Then that is how you are going to check. Click OK. Fine. Now another joint revolution 2 has been created. Right click. Now edit joint limits. Now if you want to edit your joint, and you can directly edit your joint, like you have angle joint alignment, you have 360 degrees. Yes, you joint alignment, that means maximum, I mean I want to rotate my allowable rotation is by default it is 0 degrees. Don't align, I mean don't give angle over here itself. Don't restrict your joint to 180 degrees over here. Okay, this is the base angle. Base angle is 0. That means all the dimensions should be 0 by default. See, if I go with 1 degree over here, or else if I give 10 degrees over here, that means my reference is 10 degrees, not 0. These are reference elements. Don't disturb these reference elements. These are not limitations. Okay, again I repeat, these are not limits for your joint. These are basics. Reference, my reference is always 0, x offset is always 0, y z are always 0, unless and until you necessarily you want to give any 10 degrees as your reference. For some assembly, you have complicated assemblies where your reference element is by default it is 10 degrees. From that particular 10 degrees, yeah,
సార్
Any doubt? Yeah.
సార్ ఒకవేళ మనం అసెంబ్లీ చేసినప్పుడు ఏదైనా ఒక యాక్సిస్
Hmm.
జెడ్ యాక్సిస్ ఉందనుకోండి,
Hmm.
అది సపోజ్ ఒక 10 mm వచ్చింది, దాన్ని జీరోకి సెట్ చేయాలంటే
Yeah, it always depends on this particular. See these arrow marks. See, if your doubt is this is your 40 mm, so the distance between these two axes is 40. Now make it as 0 simply.
కానీ అదే పొజిషన్ లో జీరో చేయాలి సార్ ఆఫ్ సెట్.
This is what it is called as offset, right?
ఇప్పుడు
Hmm.
ఆబ్జెక్ట్ పైన ఉంది కదా,
Okay.
ఆ పొజిషన్ ని జీరో చేయాలి ఆఫ్ సెట్.
Okay, that should be your base. Okay, fine. So, okay, fine. Now in your edit joints,
ఓకే.
now change your offset to by default. See, if I give y offset as 40, sorry, minus, let me go with minus 40. This becomes its home position.
ఓకే.
This becomes your home position with respect to
Okay.
this two given points. Now the object will revolve with means if I click motion, right, see this becomes its own center. If you want to change the
ఓకే.
home
ఓకే.
position,
ఓకే.
stop animation, go to position and you make it as 0.
ఓకే.
Okay, just click OK as my
Okay.
offset, then you can change your components. Now
Okay.
let us see the limits. Now I have created the joint by default. Now let us see edit joint limits. Now in this joint limits you have two kinds. I mean, if you have, it will show what are the list of possible constraints. Now in this revolute joint I have only one type of constraint, that is rotation. Now over here you can give minimum and maximum. So minimum it is 0, maximum it can go up to 180 degrees. Okay, this is how you actually give your animate. If you want to animate, see, in only that particular given slot it can rotate, animate. Now let us click OK. This is my animation. And in revolution, what is this? Okay, revolution, go to edit joint. Now what I'll do is I'll create a angle of 10 degrees as my default thing, that is my rotation. And I'll just go to revolution and just edit joint limits, and let us see what it animates. See, if I zoom in, I'll just try to zoom in. I'll show. See, there is a gap between this thing, right? Now it is not completely going to merge into this blue line. Okay, because in the default settings, the reference value I have given as 10 degrees. Now over here you have given 180 degrees, but it is not rotating 180 degrees because 10 degrees is your 0 there. I have given 10 degrees, that becomes your 0. Okay, these kind of errors, Shamin, this might be an error, or else you can do it wantedly, because in your projects and all, he might say the default origin, I mean the default origin should be 15 degrees, and you can give 30 degrees, 45 degrees, whatever he mentions, and it is allowable is 180 degrees. Then it takes that as, even though you give 180 degrees over here, it does not actually rotate 180 degrees, because your offset is, because you have created your offset for 10 degrees, that offset it will neglect. Okay, so do remember that your generally your offsets generally go with 0 itself, where I mean most of the cases it goes with 0. Edit joint, my general offset is always around 0 degrees. Click OK. Now you have asked that particular doubt. I mean, your it should rotate only around that particular axis, right? That is called as built joint. Now we will see. I mean, after completing this normal joint, we'll go to as built joint. Then we will see how to give that particular constraint. Okay. I've been component two, and where is this? Okay, sorry. Revolution, animate joint, and you have. See, if you directly click right click animate joint, it will directly animate your particular joint. So you can change your colors and you can just visualize it. So for time being, I'm just skipping everything. So you can do color change and everything, add some of the slots, and you can animate your joints and all. Okay, again, if you want to click, if you want to change any limits, go to limit and you can just animate. If you want to flip it, that is either direction, flip those directions and all. If you want to reset, that will goes to 0 and those things. Now we will see these sliding motion. Okay, now let me go to join J, and I need to press and hold my, press escape, J. Okay, it's not allowing me. Okay, fine. Let me go and select this bottom face. Now let me select the center face, and motion, I'll go with sliding motion. So my sliding axis would be around Z axis, I suppose. Okay, why it is taking this okay, fine. My axis would be with respect to this particular origin. See, even though your universal coordinate system is Z axis, your Y axis would be your sliding motion. That is because this is a component. I have created this component not with respect to this UCS. I mean, for this component, it has its own coordinate system, right? In that coordinate system, this is its y-axis. Okay, that now now it is making sense. What is the difference between a component and a body? For your body, this might be your coordinate system. For a component, it has its own coordinate system. For that one, this is y-axis. Okay, don't blindly see your universal coordinate system and give z-axis. Okay, with respect to this and with respect to this body, it is y-axis. Sliding motion will be around y-axis. Now click OK. And if you want to animate your constraint, just go to animate constraint, edit joint limits, and you can give minimum and maximum limits. You can go up to 40 mm either side, and you go minimum negative 30. Just animate it. See, in this direction it goes 40, and in this direction it goes around this. So if you want to keep on reducing it to, let us say, -10, it goes -10 in that direction, 40 in this direction. Click OK. So you can change your limits, or else you can give limit animate joint. You can leave those constraints as default. Okay, but you have to have prior knowledge on what you're actually doing and which point you need to select that. For default, I have selected the center point. You can select a corner point also. Depending upon corner point and the corner point of this one, you can just animate your object. Okay, for timing, I'm just going with similar joints, I mean similar points actually. Okay, you can select any point, any given point. Okay, if I select the center point, I can give either direction. Okay, I can go 30 over there, 10 here, 10 here. So in that way you can do your object and all. Okay, now this is your slider motion, and now let me move this particular object, and let me move over there. Click OK. This is just only simple movement. Okay, I can move, this is not constant, I can move it anywhere I can. And let me make this point J. It automatically selects my, okay, where it is selecting. Okay, it has selected my bottom face. Okay, fine. Now let me select this face as my reference. Okay, let me go to motion. I'll go with the pen slot, and Okay, rotation is along, sliding is along custom. Next now, rotation is along Y, rotation is along Z. Okay, now sliding I have to make it as custom, so I want to rotate. Okay, fine. This is my sliding motion. Now I'll click OK. Now I want to limit that to only to my given slot. Edit joint limits. Now what I'll do is I'll go with sliding. Okay, not this joint. There it is. Pin slot. In pin slot type, edit joint limits. Rotation I'll go with 360 degrees. And if I open slide, so I'll give minimum value and maximum value. So maximum it can go up to, let us say, 40 in negative direction, or else negative, or else I can go up to 50. Fine, I can go up to, see, you need to have dimensions. I don't have any dimensions, that is why I'm just giving a random value. I'll go with 65. Okay, fine. In this given slot, I need to go from, I need to rotate, and this should be revolving in its own axis, and also it should be sliding onto this particular axis. Let's just animate it.
Sir, minimum value of the changing, sir. Minimum value changing.
I'm not getting your question, ma.
So you gave maximum and minimum value, na sir?
Yeah.
So as soon as you turn to the maximum value to -60, minimum value turn to -65.
Okay, see, that is either direction. See, what you are saying is, okay, fine. Right click, edit joint limits. Now, instead of rotation, I'll go with slide. Okay, fine. Okay, this became 0. Okay, fine. Yes, sir. It automatically took that. It has a 65. Okay. So I'm not giving any minimum value. I'm going for maximum as -65. Okay. Or else I'll reduce that to 0. Fine. Now let me animate. Even 360. Let me animate your joint. Okay. Now by default, it is going with this. My default point would be over here. So your minimum should be 0 and maximum should be of -65, or else -0 for maximum and minimum of -65. Can go either way. So rotation, see, it is rotating in its own axis, and it is going to slide in its given particular slot. Okay, again, if you want to animate and if you want to change the rotation also, it is going to hang. Okay, and if you want to have edit joint limits, and if you want to have rotation minimum, it can go up to, let me suppose 180. Okay, maximum to maximum 180, minimum 1 degree. Okay, fine, let me animate it. Okay, minimum of 1 degree and maximum of 180 degrees. Now let me animate my joint. So in this given particular slot, it actually goes with 180, and it turns only maximum of 180 degrees for given 65 mm length. Okay, so that is about your pin joint. Next step, let's go with ball joint like this, and let me move this all around. Okay, you go to joint. Okay, this would be my point where I need to select, and this would be my point. Motion, this is ball joint. Now my pitch should be on. Okay, okay, if you have your custom axis, that means your pitch should be in this particular X, and you can Let us click OK, and let me limit that into edit joint limits, and this let me go around 30 degrees. Okay, so let me animate that. Okay, let me give -30, 0, minimum of go to 1 and maximum of 130, or what I'll do is I'll go with 45. Is it okay? Okay, and your you go with
If you give
minimum.
minus 30, minus 30,
Yeah,
what will happen if we give minimum as minus 30 and maximum as plus 30?
it will go. I mean, -30 it will take as default one. So if I go with pitch -30, that would be its minimum, maximum 45 degrees. It will go here and there, to and from motion. That is. I mean, it is as simple as such. See, if you want to go -180 to +180, that is, this. I mean, 0 is my center point over here. Okay, in this particular animation, I have selected center point, and that becomes my 0. And either direction would be my 180, and this is 180. So it cannot. I mean, in your Fusion 360, there is no 360. I mean, to say precisely, it does not have 360 degrees. If I give 0 and -35, it comes only to this axis. This, I mean, the vertical line is your center 0. This will be your negative direction. That is simple. So this is -180. This is +180. So totally it is 360 degrees. In that way, it is maximum and minimum. So minimum it has overall 180 degrees, and maximum it has 180 degrees. That is your point. If I give more than 180, it does not take any minimum value. If I give -190, see, it is completely going into, it will go and collide with that particular object. Okay, so let us give minus, I mean, minimum as minus, let me place it as 1 degree. At least from center it can deviate only 1 degree, and only in this direction I need to make 45 degrees, just like your gear ma. I want to simulate just like your gear, not like a joystick. If you want to move that like a, just like a joystick, you can go up to 60 degrees, even 60 over there and 60 over here. Okay, so that becomes your joystick. So for everything, roll, pitch, and yaw, you give the same value. So minimum you can go up to -60 to +60. That becomes your joystick. Completely it can rotate in all the 3 directions: roll, pitch, and yaw. So roll minimum, and generally we'll keep go with -30 to +30. Okay, click OK. Now to this given ball joint, animate joint. So make sure that it is not completely 60 degrees. So you reduce your dimensions. So if you have dimensions, then can go with the perfect value. See, that is how your joint would be. If I rotate this, your joint will be rotating. And make sure if in your assembly enable contact, enable all contacts. If that is there, and your joint will not actually move through your part actually, if there is any contact. It is very slow. Fusion 360 practice. Okay, that is your simple ball and contact elements. Disable contact, that means there are no contacts now between your joints. Now these are your simple joints. Now there is another system called as built joint. So now what type of assembly I have created is, this is my joint. Now, I mean, the procedure what I have followed is my joint is somewhere else. Let me suppose, let me give an example of this particular body. Let me delete this rigid. I have deleted this rigid body and it is somewhere in the air now. Now, if I want to go assemble and as build joint, I'll click this as build joint. Now it is saying capture the current position or continue with the previous position. Now I want to capture my current position, capture it, and type I want to go with rigid, and it is asking for what components do I need to select. I'll select my first one, I'll select my second one. Now it is not asking which faces do I need to merge. Okay, which faces do I need to merge? There is no such kind of option is as build joint. If I animate, see it is in its current position itself. As built means as it is, the position is as it is. It will capture the position as it is. You cannot select your position and give the distance between given components. Now let me click exit. Let me move my component. Let us suppose I'm moving this particular component to, I'm just moving this particular component to its ground position. Okay, this is your ground position. Click OK. Now what I have done, now this is more or less it is staying on this particular face. Now you need to assemble the component as it is. Now I don't want to give any offset, and now I don't want to give any kind of constraints. As it is. Now I want to assemble. Now I want to fix the component where it is right away. Go to assemble, as build joint. It will clear current position or continue. Capture my current position, that where it is now as build joint. Click go to rigid and click this first component, click the second component. It will create a rigid body which does not have any base component or else anything. It blindly makes these two components rigid. Okay, now let us see another example. Like if I have a slider, let me take the slider. I'll just delete this particular slider. Okay, fine. Let me control that. I want to delete this revolute joint where it is. Okay, fine. Let me delete this revolute joint. Now it is exactly on top of it, right? Now what I'll do is I'll go to assemble. Instead of joint, I'll go to as build joint. Now I'll go with the same revolute joint. I'll create one first component and second component. Now I'll select these two and type of revolute. I'll go with this position as revolute. Now, if one guy asked, sir, how do I actually give the position and revolve that particular body there itself? Now, this is what it is called as build joint. As build joint takes the current position wherever you actually position your part. Wherever you actually position your component, there itself it creates your given assembly. I mean, it creates there itself. Now, if you animate, that distance remains the same. Click OK. Now it is where it is. Now this is not with respect to this particular faces. Okay, this joint is with respect to this given part. As build joint. See, as build joint, it can be what we call it as. It can actually throw you an error. Like if I move my component, see if I move my component over here and I click OK. Now let me create this as build joint. Now for the same, I'll select the first component and I'll select the second component. I'll select the rotation as this as my rotation. This will be my rotation. Okay, animation and give this as rotation. Now this slot is not exactly aligning with this particular slot. Let me give my look at. Okay, if I move, this joint is not aligning with this particular slot. See, it blindly, what as build joint does is it assumes that you have pre-assembled your component. Okay, as build joint it assumes that you have pre-assembled your component there itself. Okay, it assumes in that way, and it creates a joint wherever the component is. It does not ask me which faces and which point do I need to merge down. Okay, that is the difference between as-built joint and a normal joint. Now in your normal joint I need to assemble these two components, and okay fine, I'll select this point as my first component, and I'll select let me rotate, and I'll select this one as my evolving component. Now I'll change my axis and motion to revolve. Rotation is Z axis. Click OK. Now that is the difference between a normal joint and an as-built joint. As-built joint, where it actually works is you have completely assembled your component and parts are there as it is at its respective places, and you want to create your joint there itself. Then your as-built joint works, and your normal joint does not work. And now in your assembly you have joint origin. Now if I in the previous step I don't have a joint origin, I want to create a new origin for which I don't have any previous thing. Let me suppose I want to assemble this particular part exactly onto this face. Now if I create a joint and if I select this face, example, let me zoom in. I want to select this particular point and I'm selecting this face. Now there is no point exactly at the center, right, onto the face. There is no point to snap. Okay, now in order to make a point, custom given snapping point exactly at a given distance, then what you need to do is go to assemble, joint origin. Now okay, I need to select this face. Okay, okay. Now if I need to position it where itself, I can just position it. If I want to rotate, I can rotate and keep that in another position. And if I want to move it downwards, upwards, wherever it might be, 30. Now I can create my own snapping point wherever it can be. Okay, you can give any offset and you can flip it and can give your own custom given point on your workspace. Now I want to give that 30 degrees and I want to rotate it somewhere else. Now it is inside the box. Now this 0, I'll make it as 0. Okay. Okay, now I want to turn that with an offset of let me give it as 20. Sorry, 20. Z offset as 0. Okay. Now I will need to revolve it somewhere else. Okay. This is my own given custom point. Click OK. Okay. Now I have created a custom given point. Now if I want to assemble any component, let us suppose J, I want to give this point or else give this point with respect to that point. See, for time being. So now you can snap this particular given point and also this point. Initially this point is not there actually. Now you can assemble with respect to this given point with respect any other given system. In that way you can create any joint origins. Okay, so now if you want to create any given point or else you want to make it exactly onto this face, you can get 20 mm from there, 30 mm from here. Click OK. Now it has created a point on this particular face. Now if you want to give any joint constraint, now with respect to this one, with respect to this, I can give any given joint. Now it can snap. So if I select this face, there are face snap points onto the edge and also now onto the face. In that way you can create your custom snap points. It does not mean that faces and edges are only custom points. You can create a number of custom points. Onto this particular point I need to assemble this particular component. So in that way you can actually make this. See, for this component, let me do it. I want to assemble this particular joint with respect to this point, with respect to, suppose I have this point. Okay, it is saying that already an existing joint is there. So for time being I'm just showing it. Okay, so if you want to assemble any given component exactly onto this face, you can give, but make sure that you delete your previous joints. Okay, so that is how it is. Let me press Ctrl Z and let me go with my older version of it. So this is my older version. Okay, these are my joints. Okay, that is how you assemble your joints, enable contact sets. And one more thing is left over is rigid group. What is meant by rigid group is, if you have let me give an example. If you have 2-3 points, like let me go it quickly. I'll just hide everything and I'll hide my joints also. And let me go and create a sketch onto this plane. Okay, where I'm actually currently right now. Okay, fine. I'm currently into my sketches. Okay, continue, capture my position, and I'll just create a custom some random sketch. I'm going to create a random sketch that does not have any meaning to it. Okay, fine. Okay, a sketch, let me extrude it. Okay, I did not close it. Okay, let me extrude that point. Okay, this becomes a new body to me. And what I'll create is I go and create another sketch around, and I'll make sure I'll create another sketch exactly on top of this. Some random sketch I'm doing, it's not a precise one. Okay, I'm just extruding even that. Okay, click OK. Now these two are different bodies. Let me create this body number 1, body number 2 as create components from bodies. Now what I'll do is let me unhide my base component and let me move this particular assembly and this one and this one, and let me move it over here. Click OK. Now as these both are my individual component number 7 and component number 8. Now what I want to make is I want to make both of them as rigid group. Now I'll select component number 1 and component number 2 and click OK. Now if I want, I'll give a simple joint motion. I'll select this as my snap point, and I'll go with this as my snap point. Just a sliding motion between motion, just a slider. Just now if I play my animation, just give joints and rigid group. See, it has created a rigid group. Now if I want to move this particular rigid group, click this. There is my rigid slider. Okay, if I animate my joint, okay. Now if I want to move this particular joint, now I can select it in a single instant, not by, see, if I have 10 to 15 components, now if I want to group that particular components and if I want to move it as it is, then I can create this rigid group, and if I click one particular part and if I want to move it, all the other given parts will actually move. But sliding motion is given only to this particular single joint itself. Okay, generally to select all the given components, I mean to make it easier the process to make it is generally a single, I mean just for selection purpose. I mean it, in the sense it is saying that okay fine, key, this is kind of a joint, like if you have a handle, if you have a pin, if you have a bush or something else, and you can turn that into one particular group, and you can select just like your sub assembly, right? These two joints are now rigid. I mean, to say that this is one particular group. Now you can select this and you can move it wherever it is. If I does not have any rigid group kind of thing, if I select this one particular body, this moves individually. That's all. Now these two are individual. They are not grouped into one inside each other. Okay. Just for selection purpose, you can create rigid groups and you can create this thing. And also your motion link capture, if you have particular joints, go with this particular revolute joint, so you can create your motion link all along z axis. Okay, this is my 180 or something. See, already I've created a motion link, so if I where is this, I'll unhide all these things. Where is this particular revolution? Okay, if I make sure this is animate joint, it also has, by default it has a motion to it. If I don't have any, if I did not give any motion in the first, I mean, the edit joint in there itself, you can create that individually, like joint origin, or else you can create a rotation or translation relationship between these two joints. Okay, that is what it is. Enable contact sets. That means if I enable all contact, that enables contact between those two given points. Now, if I rotate over here, and where is my another base part? Okay, component. Now if I rotate, see, it is not extending beyond its actual limits. If I make sure, okay, if I make sure disable all contacts, now it can come out of that particular joint, so it can go anywhere it needs to. Okay, that is about enable contact and disable contact. And if you want to give any motion study, and if you want to animate, click any slider mechanism and you can just animate it by giving any motion. This is just a simple motion study, to and fro motion. You can, okay fine, at any given particular time, where is this, it is going around 62. Alright. It is going to hang. Okay, see, just a motion study, just to go into motions, and again it got hanged. Let us give a distance as 20 mm. Okay, distance, and I'll add somewhere over here. Distance is minus, I mean, distance is 0, step 26. Okay. So what it is basically going to do is it is asking to make it as time frames, step by step. See step number 1, step number 2, step number 3. Okay, step number 1, it is going to have 10 point and 3 point, 4 point, whatever it might be. Just it goes with maximum amount. So adding the steps, so in order to make your motion slow and fast. So that is what it actually does in between your limits. Or else simply you want to animate, and if you want to make it, then select and motion sliders. Go with this and just animate your joint. So okay, fine. There is a spin slot slider. Okay, just animate your joint, and it actually animates your actual joint. Simply you can do that way or this way. You can add a frame by frame, or individually you can go with normal places and everything. That is your motion study. So generally we don't go with that graphic intensity. Your system will be hanged. So if you go with motion study and animation and everything, and that is about your visit groups. You want to get animate model, see, and everything, animate model or animate your joint, makes sense. The same, your model is same, you have only one component and you have one assembly. Okay, that is how you actually animate your assemblies. Okay, so that is how you actually do it. And if you go to simulation, see this, we will go to simulation part in tomorrow's session. So whatever we have done analysis on, we'll add some loads onto this given handle, or else we'll take any another example. We'll just add loads and we'll see how your stresses are going to develop in a simple manner. Okay, so if you want to render your component, go and use your render. In your animation toolbar also you have the same thing. So you have different kinds of animation. See, I cannot see, it is going to hang. Okay, see, if you want to play, you can create your animation and storyboard, you can transform. See, you have all the components, you have all these components. You have create, callout, transform, component number 1, component number 2. Okay, it has been already separated. See, to explode one level, it has been almost done. Okay, new storyboard. This is just to create your animations and everything. So we want to create an annotation for this. This is my see, in your advertisements they will be saying that this is part number 1. Click OK, and you have a call out like I have, this is part number 1, and next frame you can actually create. I mean, this is just like your story, you are creating something. This is part number 1, this is part number 2, and you can animate all your levels and manual explode. If you want to manual explode your parts, you can just move your parts at this time frame. See, let me show it. At this time frame it is over here, and coming to my next time frame, that could be somewhere at this time frame it is 0, and just animate. See, your system is going to struck and makes a lot of see, these are just a kind of simple anime. I mean, you create your annotations, and you create, generally you are creating a simple movie out of this one. Okay, so you need to have good amount of your net connection, and you need to have everything. See, my system is going to stuck at every time, at every given point. Okay, it's not okay. So basically your animation is, you are adding some time frames and you are adding some views and your part number 1. So how it actually is going to look, and at this time position, at 10 seconds it is going to be here, it will take 10 seconds, it is going to be there, and you can just transform it, move your components and select any given component. You can move it and place it somewhere else at this time frame, so you can animate it. So in that way, like this, just play it, and at this position it is going to be at a different position, and that is how you actually do it simply. Okay, my system is not supporting because I'm just recording your session. It is online and also it is doing the same. I'm running Fusion 360 at the same time. It is not allowing me to animate the part. See, I can show a simple animation. See, at this time frame, I have created. See, it actually records even the zoom and everything. It actually records. See, if I move my time frame at 0.2 seconds, it is showing that this is part number 1. Where is that? See, it is showing that this is part number 1 and it is part number 2. If you want to show that this is part number 2, go and create the second annotation like this is part number 2. And once you create a movie, it will show this is part number 2. Okay, here it is your time frame, part number 1, part number 2. Just like your photo, I mean, what you call after Adobe After Effects. Okay, see, it is going to hang. Just to create a simple movie, like this is my animation, that is my animation. You can rotate your component at this position and can show that different positions, transform it. It is somewhere else, and that is how you create. Click OK. See, it is creating a time frame. See, if I move my movie, see, whatever rotation and revolution, whatever I have done, it is showing everything. It records what movements you need to do. Okay, just to animate your constraints and everything. Okay, you need to publish as a movie and just publish. Okay, but it needs a good amount of internet connection and quite a lot of stuff would be there. And don't, if you want to go with rendering, again we'll still got stuck. Okay, fine. This is highly graphic intensive, so be careful with your system and everything. If you want to set up a physical material appearance, okay, fine. I'll just show you before going to render. See, in your render, you can add your material. In order to add your material, go to component and right click physical material. If you want to change your type of material, what I'll do is I'll go to InDesign. I'll go to ceramic, electronics, fabric, flooring. Let me go to. Now I'll go to ceramic components. Let me show it as fabric. Okay, let me show this as leather component for time being. Linen leather. I'll just pick it and drag it and drop it onto this workspace. Okay, and let me show another material like flooring. Let me show you this as bamboo. And just for time being, I'm just making sure this as your bamboo and everything. You can set up your physical environment, decals like Autodesk. You can place your name and everything. And see in canvas render and capture your images. You can capture your images in canvas rendering settings. You can increase your resolution and you can just animate that. It is going to take a lot of time. See, it is going to hang. It takes a lot of time to render. Make sure you give plenty of time. What it does is it gives cool look to your actual component. If I make sure this is leather, it takes that particular perfectly, gives a leather texture to it. Give all materials. See, all these materials I did not assign any material to it. By default, it is saying that some kind of random value to it. I'll just pause my rendering. So rendering takes a lot of graphic intensive system. Okay, so if I zoom in, it takes time. So okay, now it is perfectly a leather material. This is perfectly bamboo material. Okay, so this is a time taking task. Leave your system until it completely renders your environment, and then if you want to capture image, then just capture your image and save it in your Windows environment. Just click OK. Okay, it will just save it in your online environment wherever it is. If you want to give PNG or JPEG image, just save it as it is. Save image over there. Okay, and if you want to have outside your canvas, stop my render. Okay, and if you want to have scene settings, go to environment library. You can have like you can change the brightness, camera, perspective, and flatten your ground reflections. You can add any kind of reflections. Just make sure you see these are your environment library. Fusion 360, you have rim lights, and see you have dry lake. See there are lots of a lot and lot of see you can have road. You can place your design on a particular road, and you can have maze, and download that particular environment, and you can place your car. If you have a car model, you can just place it on a road, and you can just play with these things. Okay, drag and drop it onto your environment. Now that becomes your background. Okay. Mm, so leave it as it is. Don't see, that is why I did not explain all these things in my system. Okay, so because you need to have good internet speed, everything, so it takes a lot of time. Animation, rendering, simulation, all these things takes lot of time. Okay, okay, this becomes your environment library. Now it has created, see that reflection you have created somewhere. Settings, make sure your settings, environment, change your environment and play with these things. Scene settings, you sit around and play with this environment in settings. That is for generally to show where your environment is. And see, this is just like your I mean, you can change your brightness and reduce your brightness of your parts and everything. Okay, so appearance, scene settings. So you just play with these things. Okay, now I'll fry my system. Okay, this is my default window. I'm comfortable with this. Okay, so first try to design your elements and try to give any assembly, and move your parts here and there, and make sure you just play with your, and finally you make sure that enable all contacts, and your animation should not cross your limits. Okay, this should not cross your limits. Make sure that this is inside this model workspace, and disable all contacts, and that's all. As will joined, I have explained origin, I have explained, that is what. Okay, that is how you get. Okay, now your assembly is done. So now examples, kind of assemblies, you can take a simple car and you can animate it, or else take a simple three bar mechanism, two bar mechanism, else a nut and a bolt assembly, and a bottle and a cap assembly. uh, so there are many kind of, take a USB, micro USB, and simulate that environment. You create a slot. I mean your male plug and female plug. You just take an assembly of that. How do you plug in USB system, and can do that thing. Or else you can simulate your what you call it as. See, like see, there are different examples you can take, not limited to one thing. Oh, so that you can choose from your machine drawing. So you can choose a number of take an example of any machine drawing assembly. You have to simulate that with respect to these assembly joints. Okay, so there are quite see, if you open this, I guess in your default data library you might be having some examples, default examples that I don't have right now, layer design everything. So you can just open your go to web and you can just see there are some examples. So apart from these examples, you create your own parts and you can just assemble it. Okay, so that is how first you model your parts, change that into components and try to assemble it. Okay, so this I've completed your assembly, and tomorrow we'll see what simulation does. See, I cannot explain complicated simulations. I can only do with simple components itself, because I have to record your session and then I have to make your session online, and also I have to make sure my Fusion 360 is running in the background. Everything needs my internet connection, so I cannot do all the things in one go. Okay, that is why it is really hard to teach these kind of softwares in online. Okay, ma. Or else I can do one thing. If I want to make sure that you want classes on rendering, in-depth classes on animation and rendering, I can do that as offline, and I can upload that onto your YouTube platform, and I can make that as an offline video. Okay, I cannot make this rendering and animation both at the same time while I'm working with your online class sessions. Okay, so I have taught you an assembly. That is your basic design. Fine. So if there are any doubts, and you can ask me on tomorrow's morning session. I mean, first 10 to 15 minutes, just practice it. Okay, now if you have any doubts, you can just raise your question, ma. If you do, and I will just stop my session.